Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today, here in the shop, we're not doing a darn thing. Today, I'm going to answer questions you guys have been asking me for 5 years. The mysteries will be revealed. The curtain will be pulled back. Today, it's a tell-all about how I do the videos and filming for the channel. Don't go away. This will be informative because I don't do things the way most people do. I do them super cheap, super simple, and I apply the little bite philosophy as well. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop. Coffee's good this morning. It's early, and I've got a lot to do today, but I wanted to get this done for you guys. So, the first question I get asked is, well, what camera do you use to do the channel? Well, I don't. I use my phone. That's all I've ever used. Sometimes I use a couple phones. I actually have 3 phones, but usually just one phone. It's an iPhone 11. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing complicated. I believe in keeping it simple. The camera that's in my phone is better than any digital camera I own. I used to use a handheld video camera early on that had an SD card in it, very early episodes. That was back when I had an iPhone 7, and that camera was better. Once I got my 11, I never looked back. It does HD quality, 4K video if I want. There's challenges with it, and I'll explain that in a minute, but again, I believe in keeping it super simple and super easy and keeping it super clean. Wait a minute, no, that's a different thing. I know a lot of people use SLRs and GoPros and this camera and that camera. I don't have any of those things. I don't have the money to buy one of those, and even if I did, I'd rather buy parts for the cars or stuff for the shop than spend money on that when this camera, till death do us part, does more than an adequate job. There are some limitations and challenges to it, but I find those are worth the sacrifice. It doesn't always do well in low light conditions, so I try to. It's one of the reasons we put so many lights in the shop, and I've got more coming, is to try to keep this as bright as possible, because with any digital photography, the more light there is, the better the quality. That's the reality of dealing with these small lenses and small CCD chips that capture the images. So I keep it simple. The second thing is the audio. I used to just use the audio that's in my phone, but I found a couple years ago I wanted to increase the audio, so I bought myself a couple of really little cheap microphone sets off of Amazon. I'll show you those. These are the microphones I use. I have 2 sets of these. I have the one that I'm currently using to talk to you, which is actually my set from the house, because I have a set in the house and I have a set here in the shop. It comes with 2 microphones and a little receiver that's got its lightning port that plugs into the bottom of my phone. It has the challenges of any lightning port. When they get worn, they can be a bit finicky. My phone is getting old, so I know I need to get the lightning port replaced in it at some point. It's a cheap thing to do. It's not actually that hard to do. I could do it myself, but point is, once in a while I lose some audio. That's why. Or the other thing that happens is the microphones themselves will die. They're rechargeable, and I didn't catch it, and we lose the audio for a video. But it doesn't happen very often at all. That's all they are. I got them off Amazon. I think the first set I bought, I paid like, I want to say $45. The last time I looked, they were about 30 bucks. I have 2 sets, like I said, one that I use in the house for doing voiceovers and other video projects that I do for different channels, and then this set is always in the shop. They are not compatible, meaning the microphones from the one in the house can't be added to this, nor these microphones put on the ones in the house. I have 2 microphones for when I have guests on the channel. Rarely do I ever have more than another person here. It's always been more than adequate for what I need. Also, while we're standing here, I'll mention the handheld units that I use. I have 2 of them. This one's normally in the house. It just happens to be out here right now. It's just a spring clip to hold my phone. And then this is the one that I really like for the shop. It's a little bit bigger. It's the same hand unit, but I found this adjustable holder that's screwed on there. And that's what I do when I'm doing handheld shots, except for right now, of course, when I'm holding my phone in my hand. But my phone can just clip right into that thing, boom, like that, and tighten her down, and it provides a lot more stability to have that pistol grip style holder than like what I'm doing right now, where I'm just holding it in my hand. I find I get much better video quality when the camera's not shaking and I can hold it steadier with that. Another thing is, what do I use for a tripod? I actually use a solid base mic stand. It's pretty stable. I don't like something with lots of legs sticking out like a normal tripod. This has a very small footprint, but it's really stable. Rarely do I ever knock it over. And it's simply got a microphone clip on it that I clip my phone into. And that's what I do most of my filming with, and I have for years. I also, somewhere around here, I haven't used it in a long time. There's a short one like this that's real small for going under a car. It's actually a kick drum mic stand is what it is. Being as I have a band and a full sound equipment for the band, I have used some of the gear that I have for that because otherwise it's just sitting not being used. But I like this much better than the traditional tripod situation anyway. It's real easy to just pop my phone in there, clunk, and go to town. Something else we're going to be mounting in the shop is a couple of these swing arms. Chris brought these up a while ago. I haven't had a chance to do anything with them yet. We're going to put camera clips on these so that we can get different shots from higher up in the shop. Might provide some interesting perspective, different footage view, that kind of stuff. But I'm not to that point yet. Set my coffee cup down somewhere. Oh, it's over there. We'll have to go get it in a minute. The next question people have asked me is, well, what software do you use? What hardware do you use? First of all, I have a full range. I have the full Adobe suite, Adobe Premiere, that can do many cameras, multiple cameras. If I'm doing a lot of more than 2 camera stuff, I will go there. I've done as much as 5 camera video with that. That's more for music videos for the band and live concert footage. But again, I believe in keeping it simple. Everybody knows I'm a huge Kiss fan. Keep it simple, stupid is my philosophy. For the first 4 years of this channel, I actually edited every single video on this channel. I don't say every single one. Most of the videos on this channel, there was a couple of exceptions. I edited them on my phone in iMovie. A year ago, because I'm getting old and I can't see well anymore, a year ago I started doing them on my MacBook. I have an older MacBook and I forget what version it's got on it, but again, I use iMovie. I'm a firm believer in learn a piece of software, learn it well, learn how to make it do what you want it to do, learn all the tips and tricks about it, and once you outgrow that software, then look for something else. I hate change. I absolutely hate change. I need consistency in my life because so much of my life is chaotic anyway. iMovie does everything that I want it to do. Are there limitations? Yes. But I found that to be very simple. So where I used to go in and plop in front of the television with my phone and edit videos in my phone, and I do that for YouTube Shorts and a couple of other things. Sometimes I even do music videos on my phone if it's simple stuff and we're using a lot of stock footage. But for the most part, everything is done in an older version of iMovie on my MacBook. Again, I'm keep it simple. I found that years ago when I was playing guitar, before I have the guitar I currently have, the one I mainly use, I was struggling to play and I realized I probably needed an upgrade on my guitar. So I went to Guitar Center and I tried out a bunch of like several $1,000 Les Pauls. I'm a Les Paul fan. Will always play Les Paul guitars. And I couldn't play very well on it. So I tried a step down. I went to an Epiphone Les Paul. And boy, it was phenomenal. My playing was immediately better. And I realized I'm not ready for the big high-end stuff. This middle-of-the-road guitar does everything I want, and once I have exhausted the possibilities on that instrument, I will look to something better. It's the same thing for me in filming, videoing, and so forth. If what I have works, why get something I'm not going to utilize its features for? Why spend money or why learn? That's the main thing, is spend all kinds of time learning how to do stuff when I already know how to do those same things in what I currently have. Another thing is storage. Where do I keep all my files? Well, first of all, I don't keep the raw footage. Once a video is done, edited, and uploaded to YouTube, all of the source footage is deleted. I don't have, because of the amount of content that I turn out, I don't have that kind of space. I have terabytes and terabytes and terabytes just of episodes because we have done well over 700 episodes here on the channel. I keep all of the episodes intact. I keep them on a NAS. I keep them on 2 hard drives. So I have 3 copies of everything plus what's already up on YouTube. I'm a firm believer in triplicate of backups. I work in the digital world, I work in technology, and I know there's no such thing as too many backups. That's the reality of it. So I really try hard to make sure that I keep all of that. I have a system by which I render out a video on my MacBook, then I put it on a flash. Well, first of all, I will take my phone, I will Bluetooth it to my MacBook and transfer the raw video into a folder called To Be Edited. In that To Be Edited folder is the title of everything we're doing. Like this one will be called probably Behind the Scenes. So I will upload or download all of these videos from my phone to the MacBook into a folder in the To Be Edited called Behind the Scenes. Then I will take that, dump it into iMovie, do all the magic that happens in there to make the episode you're currently watching. In iMovie, every episode that I haven't edited, if I don't get to it right away, has the title Behind the Scenes dash To Be Edited. So I know the ones that are separated from the ones that are uploaded or to be uploaded versus, because I always have 6 or 8 episodes in the works at all times in my MacBook. Once I edit it and render it, then I will change it from To Be Edited to Be Uploaded. I will take the rendered file, put it on a flash drive, take it to my PC on my TV, plug it in there and watch it on a very large screen to be sure I'm happy with the quality, to be sure there's no glitches in the video. Once that is done, from that point then I will upload it to YouTube. Once it's uploaded to YouTube, I will take and put that video into a folder. I label the folders by month. So for every month, there's what I'm currently working on, what's currently ready to be uploaded, and what's currently ready to be reviewed, and what has been uploaded in 3 folders there. Once it's uploaded to YouTube and in the scheduling queue, I will go back to the MacBook and I will change it from To Be Uploaded to Uploaded. So I know that episode is done. So I have To Be Edited, To Be Uploaded, and Uploaded. So you can take a look. There's probably 50 videos in my iMovie library in the software. I can always tell what is uploaded and what isn't, what needs to be worked on. I have one right now that I need to finish up and get that one uploaded and reviewed, not necessarily in that order. But that's my work process. So I'm very big on systematic flow and systematic approach. The last thing I want to talk about is scheduling and tracking. So because I do 3 episodes a week and because I'm always working 3 to 6 weeks out, for example, this video will air in actually less than 3 weeks. I'm a little bit behind right now again, but it could be up to 6 weeks. I've been as many as 8 weeks out. It's really hard to keep track of. If it's 8 weeks, that's 24 videos. 3 times 6 is, yeah. So anywhere from 12 to 24 videos I've got to keep track of. And I was really confusing myself early on in this process. And about 3 years ago, Becky came to me and she said, why don't you just get a paper calendar and write down the title of the episode on the dates they're going to be released? That has been life-changing for me. Just a paper calendar with the video title on the date. And then if I'm questioning what's going on, I can always go back and look at the scheduling queue in YouTube Studio and see, okay, let's see, on November 14th, this episode is releasing. Oh, yep, it's right here on the calendar. Oh, crap, I'm missing one for November 17th. I better get something done for that. So forth and so on. A paper calendar is my Bible when it comes to what's been done and what's not done. If it's not on the paper calendar, I know something is missing and I need to start digging. That has eliminated so much confusion in my release process. One thing that I've learned from being in business for nearly 30 years now is process is everything. Systems and process and procedures. Be consistent in what you're doing. Don't just willy-nilly make changes. You will confuse yourself. You will discourage yourself. You will make it not so much fun. The fact that I know when I go to do a video from, we didn't talk about the filming process. We'll get to that in a second. When I go to do a video and I film it and I cross-load it into the MacBook and I edit it and I go through my procedures on how things are done, that consistency takes away a lot of concerns and worry and anxiety about, did I screw up? Did I miss something? Oh no, what if I don't have an episode for this? What if I don't have an episode for that? I have all kinds of quality control checks and balances in the mix. The other thing, before we go back to the filming process itself, is because I have things released out so far. I just did this last night because today is Friday. On the night before the weekend, I will watch the Friday and the Sunday episodes that are in the queue on YouTube so that when you guys make comments, I know what you're talking about because some of this stuff was filmed 6 weeks ago. I don't remember what it was about because I do 3 episodes a week and there's so much content to do and so much content to keep track of. I need to review it so that when you make a comment, I go, oh yeah, that's right. Sometimes somebody will make a comment about an old video and I have to go, man, it was 2 years ago. I don't remember what that was, and I might have to go look at that video to remind myself. But at least what you're talking about currently, I'm always aware of consciously what's going on. Got my coffee again, finally. Finally, I try to make my filming as seamless as possible, so it requires as little editing as possible. One thing I learned in writing, I've written several books, I've written thousands and thousands of articles, both technical and for entertainment. And one of the things I learned early on from actually an author called Patrick McManus, if you're familiar with him. He was an outdoor humorist, and he wrote a book on good writing. One thing I learned from him was keep it simple. Don't let the presentation distract from the message. So there's all kinds of clever and cool things we can do to cause all kinds of, cool video effects and all that stuff. But when your attention goes from the story that I'm telling, whether I'm putting floor pans and stitches or doing interior and wiring and stuff in 47, which is actually the episode that's airing tomorrow, if I'm doing clever video stuff and you're focused on, oh, that was a really cool thing you did there with the video, then you're not listening to the story anymore, and that's a real problem. So don't do stuff. I'm not saying I never do it, because I do, but for the most part, don't do stuff that distracts people from the story you're trying to tell, because they will lose interest in the story because now they're not paying attention to the story. So I try to be very simple in the way I film things. I try to do many camera angles. I try to do, changing camera views as much as possible, but I'm not a big believer in the changing camera view every 10 seconds. I try to keep my filming process easy, meaning if I film it right the first time, I won't have to do all kinds of clever edits and spend hours and hours and hours editing a video because I didn't take the time up front to do a good job with the filming. And I think that's really important. That makes your life so much easier as a YouTuber. So I think that covers everything I wanted to say, but I'm sure you'll have 1,000 questions, or maybe not. But if you have questions, drop them down there in the comments, and I'm happy to answer what I can. I'm happy to share this with you. I have purposely not shared it for a long time, just because I just felt like, what difference does it make? It's just calling attention to the video process. But you guys have asked enough. A lot of you have asked over and over. And I've answered you privately, but I thought, I know other people are wondering too, so let's just do an episode and get that out of the way. That way when people answer in the future, I can just point back and say, here it is, watch that video. I appreciate you being here. We will catch you on the next one. Well, I'll be here. You should too. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, don't forget, it's important.